biggest thing to understand about this, guys, if you change the foods in your house, so if we stock our house with these foods, the members that do that always 10 times their results in that, especially the first month. So the ones that are losing that 5 kilo milestone within the first like 1 to 2 months as well, they're the ones that are changing their foods in the house, and they're going off this list here. First thing I want you guys to understand, so understand the nutrition process. I'll just do a real quick recap. This is for more so people that do the one-on-one coaching with us. So what we do first of all with yourself is obviously we master the 10 success habits. Then we basically go into mastering calories and consistency. We build up basically the calorie foundations. We start to feed them up. We build the boys to 3,000 plus calories. We build the girls to 2,000 plus calories. Why we do that is we fix the metabolism, we build muscle, and we build a high enough playing field to actually be able to do a fat loss phase with you and start cutting with you guys. If you're on 1,000 calories, we can't possibly reduce that. So we have to go up before we go back down with a fat loss phase. The next thing for our nutrition is we learn to control our macros. So the difference between macros and calories is weight loss. Macros is basically building muscle and losing pure body fat. Next thing, we go onto our fat loss phase. We start the shredding process. We do a bit of carb cycling as well for those that kind of need to step into that next level. One thing to understand though as well is through these two phases here, the beginner phases, most guys will lose 15 plus kilos. Most girls will lose between 5 to 10 kilos. And this next level here is if you want to lose another 10 to 15 again, that's what we kind of take you guys through. Or if we're getting you guys ready for the stage, this is obviously what we take you guys through. The last level is lifestyle, so we have to build you back up to a high enough calorie baseline to maintain. So we slowly build you guys up to a healthy calorie base coming out of your fat loss phase. Next thing to understand as well, so we have what's called basically our RARE plan, so our 5-star system. 5-star foods, which you'll see in a sec as well, we can eat every day. 4-star is 3 to 4 times a week in that. 3 stars is 1 to 3 times per week. 2 stars is on occasion. Then 1 star is rare, so they're the foods, obviously the fast food, the restaurant bad choices, the sugar, basically binges and that sort of stuff, the blowout meals. These are the stuff, the rares are what's going to really push us from our goals. We're going to try and limit that as much as possible. One thing to mention as well, so why do we have rares that push us from our goals? There's 3 reasons. There's convenience, which is lack of preparation. There's cravings, which is emotional triggers. So these 2 reasons here are both negative. They don't help our life. The only one that has a positive aspect to it is connection, which is socializing with others. So when we are having rares, guys, we want to make sure it's moving towards connection. It's not based on obviously lack of preparation or emotion. One thing that your mentor will do with you guys quite often is they'll ask you guys, okay, if we had that, why did we feel we had that? Is it convenience, craving, or connection? Just because if we're clear on the reason why, it's very easy to move away from that if that reason is not serving you guys. Next thing we go through, so we're going to go through, the book is broken up into protein, carbs, and fats, because if we balance those macros, we build muscle and we burn body fat together. Here at the bottom here as well is a bit of a breakdown of what that looks like for obviously meals and that as well, to give you guys some ideas. Next thing is understanding body types. This is really helpful, basically, especially for you guys starting off. Every body type is different and they can obviously take on different level of calories, different amount of carbs, and different source of carbs as well. So Jonah's what's referred to as ectomorph, same as Crystal as well. So they've got a very high carb and calorie tolerance, thin natural build, poor muscle development, and definitely a hard gainer. So they can have what's called high GI carbs with obviously a bit more sugar. Their body can handle that really well because they have that metabolism. Ray's an interesting one. Ray's a mesomorph. So Ray, when we met him, he's only been training for 3 years. I've been training for 15 plus years and the kid's already bigger than me. That's crazy. So here's what's called a mesomorph. Decent carb and calorie tolerance, muscular build quite naturally, great muscle, gains muscle very quickly. So he can have low GI and high GI carbs as well, which I'll explain in a second. So Kim and myself as well, so I'm type 1 diabetic in that. So Kim and myself are more endomorph. It's easier for us to put body fat on. Understanding this as well, we have a lower carb and calorie tolerance. Jonah can get up to 5,000 calories. Ray's off season, he's about 4,000. Me, I'm basically at 3.2, maybe 3.3 on my off season. So naturally, we have a softer build. We're basically okay with muscle, but we definitely put more body fat on a bit easier. So we gain fat a bit easier. We want majority low GI carbs. So they're the carbs that we want. Slow spike in the blood sugar, less insulin and less fat stored because of that, which I'll explain in a sec as well. Understand as well, you can have a hybrid as well. So Kim's actually probably a mix of the two, mesomorph and endomorph. She's got a great deal of muscle naturally, but then obviously has a tendency to put body fat on as well, easier like myself. Next thing going through, so we go through, move into the low GI carbs to regulate blood sugar, so that prevents fat storage. Rule 2 is we want high GI carbs pre and post workout to replenish muscle and growth. That's the best time to have high GI if you're going to have it. Then our goal as well is for 60 grams or less of sugar a day, so we don't spill over and put body fat on. Here's some examples of low GI and here's some examples of high GI carbs as well. So we're looking at the chart here as well. These 3 spikes here are the high GI carbs. So for me and Kim, or endomorphs, we want to try and prevent those spikes from happening. The only time we're going to spike our blood sugar is if we're going to train in the middle here, because what happens is those carbs go towards the muscle fibers, so the muscle base they take in priority, so they will take most of the carbs in if it's pre and post workout. But for most of the day for endomorphs, we want to be these little spikes here, which is low GI carbs. High GI is obviously the high sugar. That's going to spike a lot of insulin, and that's going to cause a lot of fat storage as well. So we're going to try and stay away from that. We've got here as well, so the low GI carbs, best for endomorphs for breakfast, so all the best breakfast options for us endomorphs. Then we've got the best options for ectomorphs, so for Jonah and for Crystal, these are the next best things for them to go to. The endomorphs can still have obviously some of these carbs up top here. These are obviously lower sugar, these are higher sugar. But if you're pure endomorph like myself and Kim, would probably move away from the higher sugar foods a lot more. Next, then we got low GI lunch and dinner options here as well. And then we've got high GI lunch and dinner options as well. For us, obviously, carbon up pre and post workout as an endomorph. So yes, rice is going to be okay around the workout. It's going to be very beneficial, but we're not going to gravitate towards as much pasta. The reason why ectomorphs like Jonah is obviously it's good for him to have pasta is he can have 100 grams of this here and have 70 grams of carbs versus having 100 grams of rice and only having 30 grams of carbs. So for him, for someone that needs 5,000 calories, he's going to gravitate towards some pasta in that as well, just to make it easier for him to hit his budget. But for us up here, we have to be really smart with our selection there. We then go through quick snacks, carb dominant as well. Low calorie up top, high calorie down below. We've got the best carb drinks as well. So these are obviously things with very low sugar, the best juices to have, the best obviously milk options to have as well, the cordial options, the diet soft drink options as well. So that's all there for you guys. For those that don't know as well, Crystal is gluten free as well. So these are the best carbs for someone that needs to eat obviously gluten free. We then go through the protein masterclass. So the rule for protein is 2 grams of protein per kilogram. If you're 100 kilos, you want to be having 200 grams of protein. That's ideal for obviously, that's the rule of thumb for building muscle. We want to keep the cuts of meat as well. So under 10 grams of fat per 100 gram serve. So this is something to be mindful of. If it's going over that 10 grams of fat, usually it's not a very healthy or a very lean meat. Do understand as well, we do want fats in our diet. We just don't want trans fats and we want very low saturated fats. We want to consume high poly and mono unsaturated fats. So these are really good fats, nuts, seeds, oils, and fish. The reason we want fats is it's very crucial for brain function, for your immune system as well. So it's an absolute must. Cool. Next thing going through, so ideal portion size of meat is at least 100 grams. That's going to give you between 20 to 30 grams of protein. If people are having like 50 grams of meat and that's all they're having throughout the day, they're going to have very, very low protein intake. Remember as well, so restaurant cuts of meat are likely 300 plus grams with obviously a lot of fat as well. So if you guys go to like hog's breath and that, you're having like a big 300 gram steak in that, usually per 100 grams is 30 grams of fat. So you're having like 90 to 100 grams of fat from that meat. So you're going to be very careful with obviously restaurant-based meats. Number 7, rule 7, meat is good for you if you choose wisely. Rule number 8, please use our shopping list for the meat selection to help you choose, obviously, lean meats and that. So we've got here best, obviously, beef to have. Most of this list is basically Coles and Woolworths, because that's where most of you guys shop. We've got the best poultry, the best kangaroo, we've got the best pork, we've got the best fish options as well. We've got the best non-meat, so vegan options as well to bump your protein up as well. At the top here as well, you'll have a lot of tips that will kind of complement on what we're showing you guys here as well. Best protein drinks as well. We've got best protein snacks and treats. There's some really nice puddings, there's some ice cream, there's some peanut butter cups, there's heaps of stuff here for treats as well. So definitely guilt-free treats. That's gonna allow you guys to eat ice cream, gonna allow you guys to eat pudding, and basically that sort of stuff, or chocolate bars, just a better option without the sugar and with high protein as well. Next, let me go through so these are the best options for your fats going forward, the best cheese options, the best animal-based fats, the best obviously drink-based fats as well, the best obviously nuts, seeds, cooking oils as well to have, the best treats as well. So you got some of the best obviously chocolate bars, very low sugar, low carb with that as well. And then the best obviously yogurt that's more fat dominant as well. And here's the best spreads as well. Lastly, we got best pre-made meals. So at the top, there's low calorie options if you're on a fat loss phase. Down the bottom, there's high calorie and carb options as well if you're on a bit of a muscle building phase. So there's a lot that this booklet has, guys. Your mentor will give you a hard copy on your first Habit Coach check-in. So please definitely hit it up, take advantage of it and use it. And I guarantee you guys are gonna see some crazy results early on if you start to stock your house and use these foods as well.